मेरी आवाज आपको सुनाई दे रही है? आवाज सुनाई दे रही है? थोड़ा सा ऊपर बोलो। अस्सलाम वालेकुम। अस्सलाम वालेकुम। I am Dr. Mohammad Rafiq, Assistant Professor of Pediatric Unit 2, Downstream Health Science. Today, our topic is in clinical examination is abdominal examination. Abdominal examination is a very important and it's a very easy examination. For each examination, some prerequisites are there. Before entering in the ward, you should be careful. You should wear a gowns. You should wear a gloves. You should have follow all the SOPs which should be followed in the ward, because you know about the pandemics of today in the whole world. When you enter a ward, you should follow some rules. You should be remain disciplined in front of the parents, because when you enter the wards, patient, attendant, and patient are observing you. What are you doing? If you are doing gossip in front of them, you are laughing in front of them, and बहुत ज़्यादा शोर आ रहा है, आवाज़ बहुत सी है। Yourself, it's very important. Okay? Wash your hands, sterilize your hand, dry your hand. See, after that, you will have to ask the patient, is there any pain before proceeding with the clinical examination? Is there any pain? Because that side of the pain should be gone in the last. If you touch that side of the pain initially, patient becomes cry, patient won't allow you to go for the further examination. So introduction is concerned, introduce yourself, explain in the patient friendly language what are you going to do, take an informed consent that I am going to do the abdominal examination, and you can use a patient friendly language like pet, tummy, belly, whatever you want to use. After that, sterilize yourself, wash your hand with a properly dry your hand, and before starting with the starting for the examination, you should ask, is there any pain? You should have to go in the very lastly in the area of the pain. The next part is the position and exposure. Position of the patient. Patient should be in a supine position. You can see in a photo. The same time you have to use a pillow, and sometimes you won't have to use the pillow. The patient should be in a straight position, in a supine position, just like you are seeing in a photo. After that, you regularly the patient abdomen from the nipple up to the mid thigh. For the abdominal examination, the area exposed should be from the nipple up to the mid thigh. But the word in the last is privacy. You should mention the privacy of the patient. Initially, if the patient is girl, you should cover the breast area and keep it covered, and and also cover the pelvic area, genital area, and come this area in the last after completing your examination, and for expose for very little time with all the privacy measures should be taken before that. And before that, you should also tell the patient what you are doing to do and what are you looking for in this area. The importance is also, when you tell the importance of the examination, they will allow you. But Here, keep in mind, patient privacy is very, very important for the female patient. Breast area should be properly covered and should be, if you want to look at it, should be exposed very lastly and covered it immediately. And the same in genital area should be exposed in the last and should be covered uh, immediately after what you want to look to see. Inspection. This is a very initial part of the examination. Inspection usually have a two. First of all, you have to inspect the patient overall. Is the patient is comfortable or not? What is the patient GCS, patient general Glasgow scale? Patient is in a pain or not? Patient is cooperative or not? Patient is irritable or not? Is there any sign of failure or not? Is there sign of cyanosis or not? Okay? So all this will you give you the initial impression that what is the general condition of the patient. After that, you will focus the inspection on a localized examination. Look for the abdomen, is shape of the abdomen. Shape of the abdomen either will be flat, scaphoid, or distended. Whatever, you should look for it. Either it is shape of the abdomen is flat, either it is scaphoid or either distended. Then look the umbilicus, its shape, either it is inverted, everted, or its position. Sometime when the abdomen is distended, it becomes slit-like, it becomes everted. In routine of the patient, usually it's inverted. The third one you should go for to look for the movement of the abdomen wall. Movement of the abdomen wall, you look for the either the abdomen goes in with the respiration, with the inspiration or expiration. Usually in children, type of respiration is abdomen thoracic. And then after you will have to look for the peristalsis. In visible peristalsis, you are usually not seen in each patient, but you will got in newborn area, in an infantile age, when the patient have some problem, just like hypertrophic pyloric stenosis. In this case, you will got a visible pulsation in the epigastric area, and sometime when the patient have a distal obstruction, you will also got a pulsation, visible peristalsis in the abdomen. Then you have to look for the pulsation. Usually in some cases, you will got some pulsation in some area, just like epigastric, you will got a cases in cardiac problem, you will got some pulsation in the epigastric area. Then you will go for to look for the star mark. The area of the star mark is also important because it will help you if there is some surgery in the past will have done. Striae, you will have to look for the striae. Striae are of two different types, usually purple and then sometimes white. The significance of these depend in obese patient when they become lean, the abdomen become gone in normal position, they have a usually white. But in case of Cushing syndrome or other disease, you will got a purplish or pinkish striae. The other important thing you will look for is prominent vein. Prominent vein usually will got in the when there is a liver problem and the veins got distended, and in the prominent vein you have to also look for the flow of the blood. In which direction flow of the blood is there in prominent vein? Usually normally the flow of the blood is toward the umbilicus, but in case of portal hypertension, the blood is usually away from the umbilicus. We say it Harvey sign. And then you will check for the pubic hair. It's also very important to check the pubertal age and finally you will have to look for the hernial orifice, just like inguinal areas, and you will scrotal area to look for the hernia. So got it? Look for the shape of the abdomen, umbilicus, movement of the abdominal wall, visible peristalsis, pulsations, scar, stria, permanent vein, pubic hair, corneal orifice. So you should be careful about all this and write it down in a paper. That what also you look for, and after that you will have to go for the palpation. Before palpation, ensure that the hands are warm. Make it sure. If your hands are not warm, rub your arm together to make it warm. Ask the patient about, ask that again before going for palpation, because now you are going to touch the patient. That is there any pain? Okay. Ask to report any tenderness elicited during palpation. Okay. If you tell the patient if patient got any pain, if patient got any tenderness when I'm going to touch you and when I'm going to palpate your belly, if you got any pain, let me know. Okay? Ensure that the hand are warm. Ask the patient about any pain and tell the patient if he or she feel any pain, any tenderness, let you know that he or she have a pain in that area on touching that. Right? Use your right hand, keep, okay? And you should also stand on the right side of the patient and use your right hand, keep it flat and in contact with abdominal wall. You should have to stand on the right hand side of the patient. You should use your right hand, keep it flat and in contact with the abdominal wall. When you are going, look on the face of the child throughout the examination for any sign of discomfort. What we usually doing wrong? We are focusing, we are looking on the abdomen of the face. No, your eyes should be on the face of the child to notify any discomfort during your examination. Keep in your mind. Okay? Very important point. Where is the eyes? Eyes should be on the face when you are doing examination to look for the discomfort. Begin with the light superficial palpation followed by a deep palpation. Initially, you will go for the light superficial palpation, then go for the deep palpation. Start from the region away from the pain. I already mentioned you. The pain, the area where the patient have a pain should be touched in the last. And if the patient has some severe problem and patient won't allow you to touch, won't touch it. Won't force to touch it, that area. Start from the region away from the pain and palpate region in the form of G or S. You should have to palpate all the 9 quadrants. Right? You will either make a G on the G-like shape or you will go with the S. In this way, you will touch all the 9 quadrants and you are able to complete your result. For example, starting from the left hypochondrium, then epigastrium and hypochondrium, you will complete all 9. Okay? Usually start from the left hypochondrium, then epigastrium and right hypochondrium. In this way, you will cover all the quadrants. Now, after superpalpation, you have to go for the deep palpation. Deep palpation, you have to put some pressure on the abdomen to look for the masses, which are usually missed on superficial palpation. Especially to look for the masses, you have to do a deep palpation in the same sequence and with same protocol of going in the pain area lastly and look for the discomfort on the face. Now you have to go for the palpation of the viscera. First of all, we have to go for the palpate liver. How to palpate liver? you have to, I already told you that you should have to stand on the right hand side. Place your hand flat and parallel to the right costal margin in right iliac fossa, and you can also see in the photo. Start the examination of the liver from the right iliac fossa. Right hand placed vertically in the right iliac fossa, fingertip facing right costal margin. See, there are two ways: either parallel to the right costal margin, you place your hand, or you could place your hand vertical in the right iliac fossa and with finger tip facing the right costal margin. Usually, when there is no fluid, you should follow the right costal margin in right iliac fossa, see, parallel. Either when there is a fluid and you have to push, you have to use some force, then use the right hand place vertically in right iliac fossa and then fingertip tip facing to our right costal margin. And then goes up slowly upward toward the costal margin and ask the patient to deep breathe. Why? When the patient take a deep breath, the liver is under the diaphragm, it moves with the respiration, the border of the liver will touch on your head with each breath when you are going to what? Costal margin. Press the hand inward and upward during expiration and steady during inspiration. When you have to press the hand inward and upward during expiration. When patient expire, you should press your hand inward and upward. And when patient inspire, taking inspiration, you should be steady, remain in that space. Feel for the liver edge as it distends on expiration. I already mentioned you, because it's under the diaphragm, it moves with the respiration. Move the hand progressively upward until you reach the costal margin or detect the liver edge. What are the two endpoints? Until you reach the costal margin or costal margin, you will reach the costal margin, or until you detect the liver edge. Note when you are detect the liver edge, note how many centimeters below the costal margin is the liver edge palpable. Okay. When you palpate the liver edge before subcostal margin, you should have to measure it in centimeters. How much centimeter liver is palpable below costal margin in mid-clavicular line? You should have to measure the how much span of the liver, how much liver is palpable in centimeter below the subcostal margin in mid-clavicular line, and this will signify you right lobe of the liver. And same thing when you feel, and you will go to palpate in the below the xiphoid passage, you will got the left lobe of liver, and you will have to also measure if you palpate liver edge below the xiphoid passage and it's the left lobe, you should also measure it in centimeters below the xiphoid passage, and you should write it down how much liver is palpable below the subcostal margin in mid-clavicular line and how much liver is palpable below the xiphoid passage. Then you will explain and look about the edge. Is it either sharp or rounded? Look for the surface. Look, palpate when you palpate, and you will also look that you will palpate that either the surface of the liver is smooth or irregular. And look for the, you will also check for the consistency. Either is a firm, the hard, is a soft. In different disease, and usually you will got soft liver in cardiac failure, hard liver usually in the malignancy, and in metabolic disease and other infectious disease you will got firm liver. In some of the cystic mass, some cyst, there you will got a cystic. You can feel. You will check. You will check with the liver edge. If it is sharp round, you will check surface, either it is smooth or irregular, you will check the consistency. Okay? And I already mentioned you will check and measure the size of the liver, how much it palpable. And along with that, you will also look for the upper edge of the liver. You will get by percussion from the second intercostal downward toward the margin in the medial line, and the percussion node will become resident to dull in the upper border area, and after that you will check or you will measure the whole span of the liver, and you will notify how much is the liver span patient has. Palpation of spleen. The other viscera which you have to palpate second is a spleen. The same, you should have to stand on the right hand side in right hand, and you will start the palpation from the right hand side, right iliac fossa, finger facing towards the left hypochondrium. Okay? Just like liver, you should have to start from the right iliac fossa, but here direction is toward the left hypochondrium. In liver, the direction is toward the right subcostal margins. Press the hand during expiration, already just like a liver, and keep it steady during expiration. And you will also give a command, the patient take a deep breath, and along with each breath, you will move upward and move gradually toward the left hypochondrium. If spleen is not palpable, ask the patient to roll toward you on his or right side. Okay. Place your left hand over the left lower rib posteriorly and apply constant pressure medially and downward. Palpate spleen with tip of the right finger under the left costal margin. If spleen is palpable, note the size. Note the size, surface, notch. You will look. You will check for the notch. You will look for the consistency. You will note the size of the patient. You will look for all these things. Palpation of the kidney. Palpate. You also, all for the palpate kidney, you should have to be on the right side. Place the right hand anteriorly in the lumbar region and left hand posteriorly in the lower region. Right hand is in the anteriorly and left hand posteriorly. Apply upward pressure with left hand and backward with the right hand with each inspiration. If kidney is palpable, it will be moved downward between two hands during inspiration. Bladder. Before performing bladder examination, allow the patient the opportunity to go for the toilet. Okay? Keep in mind, when you are going to do a palpation of bladder, always ask the patient, or if he or she wants to go for the toilet, they can go. Our distended bladder can be palpated in the suprapubic area arising from the behind the pubic sympathy. Usually, bladder is a pelvic organ. When it becomes distended, it comes in the abdominal, and you will able to be palpated in the suprapubic area. Okay. Bladder can also be examined by percussion. How will we palpate liver, we palpate spleen, and we palpate kidney? How will you differentiate between these organisms on your basis of palpation? In liver, see, percussion node, yes, when you percuss on the abdomen, on the area of the liver and spleen, the percussion nodes are usually dull because just below the skin, you have a liver or spleen. So you will get the percussion node dull. But in case of kidney, when you percuss the abdomen, you will get a resonant. because in front of the kidney you will got the intestine, and on when you percuss there you will got a resonant sound. So you will differentiate between these organs. Okay, either it is a spleen or either it is a kidney. So in case of kidney, you will got a percussion note resonant. In case of a spleen, you will got a percussion note dull. Movement with the respiration. Liver and spleen are usually moved with the respiration. Liver and spleen move with the respiration. Kidney now is a retroperitoneal organ. It won't move with the respiration. Spleen, you will feel a notch. In kidney, it's a palatable. In case of kidney, liver, and in case of spleen, you are not able to get above it. But in case of kidney, you can get above it. Liver, you will got in right epicondyum. Spleen, left epicondyum. And kidney, you know that it's two, left and right, you can got in both area and easily palatable, cannot get above it. Can be get above it and does not move with respiration and is resonant. Spleen usually dull, move with respiration. You will feel a notch. You cannot get above it if you feel it really left epicondyum. So this is an important differentiating point between these viscera on your palpation. Now, another important thing is percussion. Percussion should be done in all four quadrants to check for tympani and dullness in clockwise direction. Here you can see in this photo. You will start in this section and you look for the tympanic. Usually the abdomen on percussion, you will got a tympanic sound. But when there is a fluid, there is some mass, there is some visceral, in case of viscerally, you will got dullness area in different areas. Here, other importance is shifting dullness. Shifting dullness is for to look for the fluid in the to check for the fluid in the abdomen. Position: patient should be lies in the supine position. Start percussion from the epigastrium in the midline position. In the midline toward the hypogastrium. Then percuss from the midline at the level of the umbilicus toward the flank. From here, you will come downward toward the hypogastrium and then percuss from the midline at the level of umbilicus toward the flank in any direction. Note any change in percussion. Note from the resonant to dull. From the tympanic to dull, you can also say. When you start percussion from the epigastrium toward the hypogastrium, and then from the area of umbilicus, you will turn on the right or left, depending in which direction you will go. It doesn't matter. You can go in. Usually, come on the right side is easy for you. You will note for any change in percussion. Note from tympanic to dull. If ascites, if fluid is there, note will become dull. Keep the finger where the note becomes dull and ask the patient to turn toward the opposite side. If fluid is present, the note will be dull, become dull. The area where you are feeling the note dull, you should keep your finger there and you should ask the patient to change the position toward the opposite side. Wait for a few seconds and percuss again. If the note becomes resonant, then shifting dullness is present. When the patient turns toward the opposite side, because of the gravity, the fluid moved toward the opposite side. And when you started percussion, the percussion note become resonant because the fluid will move to the opposite side because of the gravity. And in this way, you will get the shifting dullness. Dullness is shift toward the opposite. Dullness is shift. Then its shifting dullness is positive. It means patient have a fluid inside the abdomen. And in case of moderate ascites, you will get the shifting dullness positive. The other sign to look for the fluid inside the abdomen is fluid thrill. How to do it? How to check it? Place the palm of your left hand against the left side of the patient abdomen. Ask the patient to place the edge of his or her on or attendant hand on the middle of the abdomen. Click up finger of your right hand against the right side of the abdomen, okay, just like you can see in the photo. If you feel a ripple against your left hand, a fluid cell is positive. In case of massive ascites, you will got a fluid cell positive. And one more sign to look for the fluid in the abdomen is Pudel sign. In the mild quantity of fluid, you should have to ask the patient to sit in a kneel chest position, just like in the Sajda. And then after you go for the to check for the fluid. Same, just like a fluid cell. When the patient is, but the position change. In this way, in this case, you have the patient has a kneel chest position, and the method is same like a fluid cell. You will flick on one side and feel the rippling moment on the other side of the abdomen. Now, the other important of the component of the examination is auscultation. Auscultation, first you have to auscultate for the vowel sound. Place the diaphragm of the stethoscope on the right side of the umbilicus. Listen for 2 minutes. Why usually select the right side? Because the narrowest ileocecal wall junction, which is the narrowest area, and here you can hear easily the gut sound. That's why this side is usually recommended for the hearing of auscultation of the gut sound. Listen for 2 minutes. Auscultate for the bruit. Auscultate above the umbilicus, above the outer for the arterial fluid. Auscultate 2 to 3 centimeters above and lateral to the umbilicus for bruit or renal artery. You can see in the diagram on the right side, auscultate over the liver for liver bruit. Other areas, you have to look for hernial orifice. Okay. If you feel any swelling in this area, as the patient is cooperative and we can follow your command, you will ask the patient to cough to look for the cough impulse. And you have to also examine the external genitalia. And you have to look on the back and perineal area and for competition exemption go and ask for the DRE, digital rectal examination. Here we are discussing some of the important causes of the hepatomegaly. The cause will maybe the examination here is complete, and now we are going to look for some of the cause of the hepatomegaly, splenomegaly, and some other things. Cause of the hepatomegaly, it may be either structural cause, biliary atresia, cholestatic cyst, congenital hepatic fibrosis, polycystic disease. You may got enlarged liver in storage disease like glycogen storage disease, galactosemia, mucopolysaccharidosis, Wilson disease, hemochromatosis, protein calorie malnutrition, alpha-1 antitrypsin, cystic fibrosis, urea cycle disorder, Gaucher, Niemann-Pick disease. Hematological cause also there, thalassemia, sickle cell disease, malignancy. Heart causes, vascular causes, congestive heart failure, Budd-Chiari syndrome, secondary to infectious, torch infection, hepatitis A, B, C, D, EBV, Epstein-Barr virus, bacteria, TB, parasite, malaria. Hematologic cause of the splenomegaly, lymphomas, leukemias, myeloproliferative disorder, hemolytic anemias. Acute endocarditis, infective cause, typhoid, chronic TB, brucellosis, parasite infection, malaria, kala-dart, toxoplasmosis, and inflammation, rheumatoid arthritis, systemic onset, you will got a systemic onset rheumatoid arthritis, you will got a acromegaly, and SLE, systemic lupus erythematosus, you will got a large spleen. Other causes of portal hypertension, Gaucher disease, Niemann-Pick, and topical splenomegaly. Causes of hepatosplenomegaly are maybe hepatic cirrhosis, congenital hepatic fibrosis, biliary atresia, sclerosing cholangitis, and there may be hematological cause, thalassemia, hereditary spherocytosis, sickle cell anemia. Causes of the hepatosplenomegaly is infections, just like EBV, TORCH, malignancy, lymphoma, leukemias, metabolic alpha-1 antitrypsis, cystic fibrosis, storage and cultures. So there's a mix in which you will saw big list in some, and in many of the cases you will got the both, either the hepatomegaly, you will got either a splenomegaly, or you will got the both in many of the disease. So it is a big list, and you will examine, and you will take on the basis of the C, you will preferably make your diagnosis on the basis of the causes. ठीक है क्या चैट कैसे देखेंगे अरे चैट चैट ऑन नहीं है इसमें ये आगे चैट 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 अभी स्टूडेंट के मैसेज नहीं आया था आप लोग हैं स्टूडेंट के मैसेज आए होंगे ये नोट खोले 40 मिनट है ठीक है ये देखो फुल स्क्रीन तो इस पे हुई है इसको मेरे में यहाँ से करना ये चढ़ा दिया वो कह रहे पिक्चर है डालना फर्स्ट क्लास क्या लिखा हुआ अब्बल चैरिटी नहीं ये क्या लिखा अब्बल चैरिटी नहीं ये है पठान ऐसे इनको जो नीचे आ गया छोड़ दे सबसे नीचे आया किसी ने भी नहीं की सर ये सबसे नीचे वाला why is not clear ये तो ऐसे ही बता रहा था how to examine what is mean to get I cannot get above it get and get above it means that when you going you are trying to go above the screen you are not able to enter between the ribs and the viscera this I already told you this is a Harvey sign. Harvey sign when you have to look, you have to place both of your finger nearby it, and then you will place one finger toward the away from the umbilicus. In this way, the vein become empty, and then you will leave that one leave the space, leave your finger away from the vein. The side. In both direction you will check in which direction you will get immediately filling you will get the direction towards the umbilicus or away from the umbilicus. If you move the finger which is near the umbilicus first vein will first quickly then it means the flow is toward the umbilicus. If the finger which is away from the liver move away and the away and the vein become filled then it means flow is toward the umbilicus and when the finger toward the near the umbilicus move and the vein become filled quickly then it means the flow is away from the umbilicus. In case of thalassemia, you will because it's the extramedullary hematopoiesis, you will got the hepatomegaly. first kidney is percus. In front of the kidney there is a guts. When you percuss the gut, you will got a resonant sound. सही, इसके सवाल तो और कोई नहीं। अबे थैंक्स लिख दूं, फिनिश कर दो ना बस। हाँ, फार्म कर दो फिनिश।